Welcome back. Today's Reddit story starts with one shocking decision that changed everything forever. Let's begin. The wire transfers departed with mechanical precision each semester. 3 distinct transfers directed toward 3 separate universities, amounting to $173,000 every year. Northwestern for Emma, the aspiring medical student. Boston University for Marcus, focused on engineering. UC Berkeley for Sophie, studying environmental science. These were my sister Laura's children, all enrolled in costly institutions, even though Laura earned only a modest salary as a middle school teacher. Laura believed their late grandmother had created educational trusts. I never challenged that belief. It was easier than revealing why her younger sister now operated a digital marketing agency, successful enough to casually invest more than $500,000 in someone else's children's schooling. I had covered their tuition for 3 years. Emma was beginning her final year, Marcus's third, Sophie her second. The transfers had become automatic, scheduled alerts I scarcely registered anymore. On the Tuesday preceding Thanksgiving, I sat in my home office examining the spring semester payment timetable. Emma's last year would require $68,000. Marcus needed $57,000. Sophie's fees had risen to $173,000 due within 6 weeks. My phone vibrated with a message from Laura. The children are thrilled about Thanksgiving. Emma is bringing her boyfriend. Fair notice, they are all rather full of themselves this year. College achievement has inflated their egos a little. I stared at that text longer than was necessary. Full of themselves, as though their accomplishments owed nothing to the anonymous supporter, guaranteeing they would graduate without debt while their classmates sank under loans. I did not authorize the payment schedule. Something caused me to pause. Thanksgiving arrived cold and clear. Laura had decorated with her usual abundance. Aunt Claire, Sophie offered a quick embrace before returning to her phone. Sorry, major group project emergency. Emma appeared accompanied by a tall young man. Aunt Claire, this is Brandon. Brandon, this is my aunt. The family's entrepreneur, Brandon remarked. Emma said you handle some sort of online marketing. Some sort of, I replied. Marcus was the last to notice me, occupied with a telephone conversation as the afternoon progressed amid the familiar disorder. The young people gathered together, their talk sprinkled with casual mentions of their impressive circumstances. Emma's MCAT results, Marcus's engineering contest victories, Sophie's research paper. Laura radiated maternal satisfaction. My father nodded in approval. I assisted in the kitchen, set out side dishes, replenished drinks. After the meal, I was in the dining room collecting plates when their voices floated in from the living room. They had assembled there, the children and Laura, speaking loudly enough to be overheard. Mom, why do we still invite her? Emma's tone carried casual sharpness. She just sits there looking uncomfortable. Emma, that isn't fair, yet Laura was laughing. She's family. She's simply the family's charity project, Marcus announced, and I heard the others join the laughter. Honestly, what does she even do? Some unclear internet occupation. Meanwhile, we're all at elite universities actually achieving something. Marcus, enough. Laura's objection sounded half-hearted. Your aunt has followed a harder route. Not everyone discovers success as early as you 3. A harder route? Sophie scoffed. She's nearly 40 and still behaves as if she's working things out. It's humiliating when friends inquire about my relatives. What am I supposed to answer? My aunt does internet things and lives alone with 2 cats. 1 cat, I whispered to myself, still holding the stack of dishes. Brandon attempted diplomacy. Everyone's path differs. Brandon, you're kind, but really, Emma continued. She's the family punchline, the warning example. Study diligently or you'll finish like Aunt Claire. The laughter that followed was authentic and unforced. My sister's children, these university students I had supported for years, casually dismantling my existence while I stood 15 feet away clutching their used plates. I placed the dishes down carefully and took out my phone. My banking application opened without effort, habit formed by years of handling transfers. I moved to the university payment portal I had used so long it remained permanently signed in. 3 pending payments, 3 cancellation options. My thumbs worked steadily. Northwestern canceled. Boston University canceled. UC Berkeley canceled. Then I opened my email and composed 3 separate notes to 3 separate bursar offices. Please terminate all automatic payment arrangements for the following student. I will no longer cover their tuition effective immediately. The fall semester has been paid completely, yet no further payments will be issued from my accounts. Please direct every billing question to their parent, Laura Mitchell. I dispatched all 3 before second thoughts could intervene. Then I returned to the living room, smiling politely. Anyone care for coffee? They glanced up, surprised. Sophie's cheeks colored slightly, yet none appeared truly worried. I remained merely the family joke. I stayed another hour, helped tidy, embraced everyone on departure. Emma's hug carried perfume. Marcus scarcely raised his eyes. Sophie managed a distracted "see you next time." Laura accompanied me to the car. Thanks for coming. The kids can be a little overwhelming at times. They're wonderful, I answered. You've raised remarkable children. I was fortunate with that education fund Mom left, she laughed. Sometimes I feel guilty you never received the same help. I did not correct her. I simply hugged her farewell and drove home. The semester interval passed quietly. I worked through the holidays and gave university payments no thought until mid-January when Laura telephoned. Claire, something odd is occurring. Stress colored her voice. All 3 children received notices that spring tuition remains unpaid and enrollment is being withdrawn. I was examining a campaign proposal. That sounds serious. Mom's trust was supposed to manage everything automatically. Laura, Mom never established an education trust. She possessed a retirement account we divided equally, $12,000 each for funeral costs, remember? Prolonged silence. Then who has been covering Northwestern, BU, and Berkeley? That's nearly $200,000 annually. I have no idea. Perhaps contact their financial aid offices. Claire, all 3 are about to be dismissed. Emma graduates in 4 months. Sounds like a serious predicament. Can you assist? Maybe a loan just for this semester. A $173,000 loan extended to someone whose children had labeled me the family joke. Laura, I don't keep that sort of money available. I do internet marketing, remember. Not exactly wealth-generating work. Claire, please, have you spoken with Dad? He's living on a fixed income. I'm certain you'll resolve it somehow. I ended the call. Messages began arriving within hours. Laura, Emma, Marcus, Sophie. I answered none of them. 4 days later, my father appeared at my office without warning, walking past my assistant and into the conference room where I was presenting to a pharmaceutical company's marketing director. Claire, we must speak immediately. I excused myself and guided him to my office, whose walls displayed industry awards and client testimonials. He looked around, astonished. I didn't realize your workplace was so well established. Most people never inquire. I seated myself behind my desk. What's the crisis? Laura is at Northwestern. The university records show you've paid all 3 children's tuitions for 3 years. More than $500,000 altogether. That's accurate. Why, without informing anyone? Because they required it and I could provide it. Laura earns $48,000 yearly. There was never any magical fund, and now you've discontinued. Correct. This concerns Thanksgiving. I left after Emma called me the family joke. Marcus declared I was embarrassing and Sophie described me as the cautionary tale. Laura laughed throughout. My father's expression altered. They said that, while I cleared their plates. Claire, they're young. They utter foolish remarks. They're 21, 20, and 19, old enough to recognize that ridiculing someone's life choices is unkind. Particularly when that person has invested more than $500,000 financing their educations. So you're penalizing them for being imperfect youngsters. I'm refusing to keep bankrolling. People who hold me in contempt. That appears entirely reasonable. Emma graduates in May. You would genuinely withhold that after supporting 3.5 years. Dad. I've financed 3 students through multiple years at expensive private universities, while they and their mother believed I was a failure barely managing with internet work. I never sought gratitude, yet I also need not tolerate being labeled the family joke by individuals whose entire academic paths I've been underwriting. He sank heavily into one of my client chairs. What do you want? An apology? I want nothing. I simply wished to stop serving as the unseen remedy for everyone's difficulties while simultaneously being dismissed as the family letdown. They didn't realize you were paying. They never inquired. Laura spent 3 years never questioning the source of nearly $600,000. She merely presumed some magical fund covered everything because it was simpler than admitting I might be successful. So what now? 3 children abandoned college because they wounded your feelings. No, 3 children arrange student loans, financial aid, or part-time employment the way millions of other students do. Or Laura discovers how to pay, which she ought to have prepared for anyway instead of relying on presumed trust funds. Claire, Dad, did you know I've operated a digital marketing agency for 8 years? That I employ 43 people and serve clients in 6 countries. That last year's revenue reached $12 million. He stared. Of course you didn't, because nobody ever asked what I truly do. I'm simply Claire, the family disaster who performs vague internet tasks and lives alone with cats. It was more convenient to continue believing that than to examine my actual life. I had no notion. Nobody did. And that remained acceptable until Laura's children chose to turn me into the punchline at Thanksgiving dinner. My phone vibrated. Laura's name appeared on the screen. I declined the call. Emma is weeping, Dad said quietly. She understands what she forfeited. They all do now. Good. Grasping consequences forms part of becoming an adult. This will ruin their academic futures. No, it won't. It will compel them to work harder. Perhaps they'll value their education more once they're actually financing it. He rose slowly. You've altered, Claire. I matured, Dad, constructed something genuine. It simply occurred quietly while everyone looked elsewhere. After he departed, I sat alone in my office watching the sun descend over the city. My phone continued buzzing with ignored calls and messages. Laura, Emma, Marcus, even Sophie with her carefully worded apologies. That evening, Emma sent a voice recording. I nearly erased it unheard, yet curiosity prevailed. Aunt Claire. Her voice was heavy with tears. Mom finally revealed the truth about everything, the tuition, the payments, all of it. I don't even know what to express except I'm so sorry. I was harsh and dismissive, and I spoke dreadful things about someone who has supported my entire education. I understand if you never pardon me, but I needed you to know I recognize what I did. What we all did. I listened to comparable messages from Marcus and Sophie during the following hour, all sincerely regretful, all stunned by the disclosure of my actual financial contribution. Yet regret cannot erase words already uttered. Apology cannot reclaim $500,000 expended on people who labeled you a charity case. 2 weeks later, Laura arrived at my office. My assistant held firm instructions this time, yet Laura appeared so defeated I consented to meet her. They're withdrawing, she stated without introduction. All 3 of them. Emma located a state university that will accept her credits and allow her to complete her degree. Marcus is transferring to the state engineering program. Sophie is pausing a semester to work and accumulate savings. Sounds as though they're demonstrating resourcefulness. Claire, please, I know what they said was unpardonable. I know I should have paid closer attention, should have questioned the origin of the money. But they're good children who committed a terrible error. They're adults who disclosed what they truly think of me. That isn't an error, that's candor. What can I do? What would repair this? I regarded my older sister, always so refined, always so composed, now completely unraveling. Part of me wished to mend everything, to transfer the funds and reinstate their flawless existences. Yet the remainder recalled standing in that dining room, holding plates, listening to people I had sacrificed for treat me as worthless. Tell them the truth, I finally replied. Tell them precisely how much I paid and for how long. Tell them I overheard every remark they made at Thanksgiving. Tell them that actions produce consequences. And this is what occurs when you ridicule someone's generosity. They already know all that. Then nothing further remains to discuss. She departed in tears. 3 months later, I encountered Emma at a coffee shop near my office. She wore scrubs, apparently serving as a hospital volunteer between classes at her new state university. Aunt Claire, she approached cautiously. May we speak for just a moment? I indicated the vacant chair at my table. I begin at the state school in the fall, she said. The pre-med program there is actually quite strong. Different atmosphere than Northwestern, yet I'm adapting. Good. I obtained employment, 2 positions actually, this hospital role. And I tutor organic chemistry on weekends. I'm financing my own tuition through a mixture of work and modest loans. Nothing approaching what you previously paid, but it's mine. That's commendable. I wanted you to understand that I comprehend now what you did for us, what we discarded. I'm not requesting forgiveness or further assistance. I simply wished you to know that earning my education has caused me to value it more than I ever did previously. I studied her face, observing fatigue, yet also something resembling authentic development. Emma, I never desired you to fail, any of you. I wanted you to succeed without debt. Yet I also needed you to regard me as an actual person, not merely the family joke. I regard you now, she said softly. And I'm so sorry it required losing everything to open my eyes. She left, and I remained alone with my coffee, reflecting on family, dignity, and the cost of remaining unseen. My phone vibrated with a payment notification, not for tuition this time, merely my ordinary bills, my ordinary existence. And I recognized something. It felt entirely correct.